Your Heartbeat Trouble. When we come back, the great American panel. And tonight on our great American panel, he is the former national chairman of the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. Danny Vargas is here. She is a former advisor to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, former communications director for Governor Ed Rendell. Penny Lee is here. And by the way, he ran against Eliot Spitzer. He wasn't client number 9 in the New York gubernatorial race. Former executive of Nassau County, Tom Swazi, is here. Welcome aboard. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, I want to go to the crack up in the Democratic Party. You got this guy, Eric Massa, and Rob would sell his own mother. He's the son of the devil's spawn. He put his own children on the front of a locomotive, et cetera, et cetera. Now, he goes out there and says all this stuff, and then he sounds like he's a conservative. No. He says this health care bill's being rammed down everybody's throat. The process is bad. He talks about bribery, et cetera, et cetera. Massa wanted a single-payer bill. So what do you think's going on with this guy?
He's got problems. He's got some very serious problems. And, you heard the story. He was talking about how Rahm Emanuel confronted him in the congressional showers. See, this is a good example of the old saying that if you can't take the heat, get out of the shower.
And it's just this one thing after another. It looks like a man in desperation trying to save his own reputation.
But it's bigger than that, and it is, a culture of corruption now is engulfing the Democratic Party at a time where they can least afford it. I mean, you got Charlie Rangel in New York, you got Governor Patterson in New York, we got Eliot Spitzer, we got Cole Cass Jefferson. The swamp has not been drained. They actually filled the swamp back up, and we got twice the volume that we ever had at this point.
And they've got so many huge beach balls up in the air right now between health care and stimulus and the jobs bill and cap and trade and so forth. This is the last thing they need. These types of distractions. And frankly, the thought of Rahm Emanuel naked in the shower, that's one thought that I don't want to visualize ever.
I can't deny 57% of voters say the health care reform bill making its way through Congress right now is going to hurt the U.S. economy. Only 25% say that it helps the economy. The American people have rejected it. They've rejected it once. They've rejected it twice. And the president just has blinders on. He's tone deaf. Doesn't care what he does not care what the people watching the show
The issue
think.
is that the American people right now today, they want the federal government, they want state governments to focus on those things that they care about, and that's jobs, getting the economy back on track, making sure the American families have a way to be able to pay the mortgage and feed the families. What's all these other distractions?
I agree with all. They want jobs. You're 100% right. But this president is singularly focused on his rigid ideology. But this was a year after Obama. You don't think Obama and the agenda that he pushed hurt your campaign? I don't
think that's what it is. I think what's happening is people are insecure and people are worried about their jobs. And I think Democrats and Republicans can agree that everybody's insecure right now and they want change.
I think it's a little bit the fact that Obama has been pushing this radical agenda for so long and taking the healthcare system and trying to adopt it into the government, the American public has rejected this. There's one loser in this whole process, and that's the American people, because we do need healthcare reform right now. And if they ram it through with reconciliation, it's going to hurt the economy in the long run, and the American people.
You agree that we need healthcare reform?
Yeah,
people have been talking about
if the president uses reconciliation, the process he condemned, that Hillary condemned, that Biden condemned, if he uses that process and rams it down the throat after all the other corruption, hang on a second, you don't see a huge political price to be paid?
I definitely think that there will be some political price to be paid. There will be some, but look what the process is what should be done. The policies is what should be put forward. So what I'm saying is
struggling like you never struggled.
No, what I'm saying.
And we continue now with our great American panel. All right, Dan Rather's back and had this to say about President Obama selling watermelon.
The undertow in the coming election is going to be President Obama's leadership. And the Republicans will make a case, and a lot of independents will buy this argument. Listen, he just hasn't been really. Look at the health care bill. It was his number one priority. It took him forever to get it through, and he had to compromise it to death. And a version of, listen, he's a nice person. He's very articulate. This is what's going to be used against him. But he couldn't sell watermelons if you gave him a statement.
Go ahead, Penny. You defend him.
Oh, why am I having to defend this
person? You're a liberal. He's a liberal. You're a liberal.
Please, no, there is no place in America for racial insensitivity, and that is something that he needs to apologize for, that he needs to set the record straight. There's no business like that here in America.
You know, Sean, and you're going to disagree with me on this one, but I really don't think he had any malintent in what he said. I think he misspoke. I think if he had to think about it, he would probably say, oh, wow, that was pretty stupid for me to say it. But I don't think he had any bad intentions.
I'm going to be honest with you, and I can't stand Dan Rather. I really can't. I can't stand the guy. He's a left-wing nut job. What he did, you know, that ended up him losing his job is unforgivable from a journalist perspective. But I just question. I just don't think he's that bright. I don't think he really thought about what he was saying.
I think he was just trying to be clever, and he tried to, you know, he always tried to come up with clever sayings and folksy sayings, and it was a bad mistake.
And we all do it, I think. I think we all misspeak. And when you do that, you say, I'm sorry.
But this is the problem. We live in America where if you misspeak, look, I have people that monitor. Right now, there's some psycho leftist liberal in her underwear. You know, hiding out in her bunker somewhere.
Underwear, the shower. I hear about it.
Another visual I want to hear.
More visual.
Some psycho hanging out there, hoping and praying that dumb old Sean Hannity says something wrong. I'm not saying. I think we ought to live in a world where you can make a mistake, what you're saying, and revise and extend your remarks, apologize, and it be accepted. But we don't live in that world anymore.
We're spending too much time just picking on each other all the time instead of solving problems. And I think that it's not a liberal, it's not a conservative thing. I think it's just the reality of the society we live in right now.
We've got
to try and move away from it.
We've got too many big things that we have to deal with as a country. We've got to get to a point where we can actually have those dialogues and those discussions and actually get to the heart of the matter. And if we sparse every single word that we say and slice and dice it and we waste our time, we're not going to get to the heart of the matter.
Hey, all right. Good to see you. Thanks for being with us. He cost you your job. You Penny, good to see you. Danny, always good to see you.